The irony is that I when I sold the agency, I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm really tired of social media. Just want to take a break from like looking at branded content all the time. And I'm like, oh, I'll
Pulling you
go into
back in.
software, like, higher exit multiples, really exciting to scale, less people to required on fulfillment than service based. And then I just find out that basically the only way to build a consumer app these days is through influencer marketing.
Yeah.
So we'll find out in the next 3 months if I'm right or not.
Well, I mean, I think it's applicable even to me in like going more B2B too, because that there it's. I was doing a post the other day and I put like my thoughts at the end, and I was like, "There's no replacement for making 150 videos and distributing them."
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
and I know that's one of Hermosi's new like quotes that the hills that he's dying on is are you setting a timer on your desk for 4 hours and making content for 4 hours per day? And if
Yeah.
not, like you're not doing enough. And that always hits home to me because I'm like, I need to be doing more. I need to be doing more. I was doing more and so many other things, but for whatever, it's just like it's just the ebbs and flows of being consistent with content and social media is tough.
I think it's really tough at your stage with what the current revenue is because it's a serious business, but it's not to the point where you are paying for like you're not paying for C-level execs that can do a lot of the difficult things that you're doing currently to alleviate your
Exactly.
time to make the content.
Yeah.
So it's a weird position of like the around $1 million is a tough barrier to push through.
The cool thing is because we're still fully bootstrapped, when we break those thresholds, it's just profit
Yeah.
that I take. So last year, and I was like realizing this recently, last year was the year of figuring out that this could be a business, that there was
Yeah.
a level of product market fit. This year was like figuring out where that product market fit actually resides and trying to orient the entire company towards that path only. And I think next year is now that we know that that's the path, just triple, quadruple down on that path and optimize and scale. So it's like those first two periods were so questionable, but it's also hard to deny like a 3,000% year over year growth. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
and I haven't been posting all that much, which is the other thing that like when we do, if and when we do eventually sell this 5, 10, whatever, how many years down the road, the business not being reliant on me as a social media creator or content producer is, I think, it's an advantage to the business, not a detriment.
Totally. I completely agree. But I don't think you want to fall into the trap of thinking that any organic content is like a detriment. Like having a face to the brand is fine, or multiple faces to the brand, even if it's not you. I think for software, you will get a lower multiple if your all of your acquisition is reliant on paid
One
advertising
and or one organic person.
or one organic person for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's where I think the content creator strategy is even more important because if you can boil it down to a science of you pay $5 per CPM, you make $6 RPM, you're laughing, right? You're off to the races. But having multiple people, sorry, Lucas, I'm reading the comment, I got sidetracked. Having multiple people creating content for your business, I think will help you get a higher multiple because you've boiled it down to a science and you're not just relying on yourself. That's what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say.
Lucas says, side note, congrats, by the way, almost another year. And what year it's been so far. I'm super proud to be a remote, small part of the family. It's literally changing my life. Love to hear
All
that.
right. Hell yeah, Lucas.
Love to hear that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just like finding that path and then tripling down on what's working and not changing it, even though there's all these shiny objects coming into the peripheral. I think that's going to be the biggest struggle of this next year and even over the next 12 days with whatever OpenAI releases, it's what is the next AI features that our customers will be asking for within 5 seconds in Discord after they release the tweet. Like, oh, is it
Yeah.
out yet? Like, give us a sec.
Yeah, shiny object syndrome is a killer. Another another Hormozy thing. The woman in the red dress. All right, every level it gets harder and harder. There's more and more opportunity to say no to. Well, I'm grateful that I'm like 12 to 24 months behind you because I get to kind of follow in your footsteps and watch you make the mistakes before I step on the same landmine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like my number one biggest takeaway from this year is when bootstrapping, don't overhire too quickly.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm normally such a risk averse person. I really hate spending money, and the agency was very profitable for 6 years. But now I just don't see an alternative when I'm building software and I'm not a software developer and I'm making content and I'm not an experienced content creator with a ton of followers. So it's like, and I guess I'm just willing to spend the money. I don't know.
Well, you have the money. That's the other thing. Like when I started Stammer, it was still from the point of view of how do we use the small amount of profit that we're making from the agency to fund this.
Right. Yeah.
And then any money that we make there is 100% of that is reinvested into the business because I was making so much money from doing the brand deals.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like your situation is instead of doing brand deals, you just sold the agency.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think a lot of people who want to start their own thing are going to come from it from a point of view of, oh, I have to work my job and I want to start this thing.